Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. How you doing? This is gonna be my reactionary video to reality check. I know, y'all must be tired of seeing people react to reality check. But hey, we all different. We all have our different opinions about Miss Tyra Banks, Miss J, and Mr. J. Anyway, it's 5 in the morning. And I'm gonna give you my analysis. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the girls. I'm just going to briefly talk about the girls that were on the video and then some that were not. So let's start with Ebony. I'm going to give you my takeaways of what I experienced because this video will be as long as everybody else's if I, just discussed every little detail. So let's get to Ebony. My analysis on that, she had 3 things to piss me off in this video. They cut her hair wrong. They called her ashy. And the group's reaction to her being with the woman. I remember this well. I've always been open-minded about gay people, so it did not bother me. I thought Ebony was striking. Now, in my youth, I wasn't a teenager like most people that's talking about this. I was probably early 20s, mid 20s. So I definitely had a better grasp, I would say, on what was going on. Did I see, and I wasn't calling it that back then. I was calling it microaggressions. I wasn't calling it microaggression back then. That's definitely what happened to Ebony. The whole, she's ashy, the haircut with them laughing about what to do with her hair ended up having bald spots. Her hair was already short. But to me, being that her hair was short, it made her even more striking. I mean, it showed those high cheekbones, and she had very, 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 very strong African features. And to me, when I saw her and she was not successful in the modeling industry after that, I was like, that is weird because to me, she had it. Still has it. Let me just say, all of those Black women are beautiful. I can't, remember every girl that was on there, what they all spoke of, because I can't remember the young lady's name. I think her name was Brie, with the hair wrap. She reminded me so much of the transition that I went through, leaving religion and becoming more of a person that is self-centered. Now, that may sound harsh because nobody wants to be self-centered, but I'm self-centered in a way that I recognize self and only self when it comes to how I feel about labels and being labeled in this religion. So my thing was that Robin reacted to her. I remember it like it was yesterday how Robin reacted to her being a woman because she was being with a woman because she was so, so, quote unquote religious. Wow. I wish nobody could find Robin. I wondered what's going on with her because she was so closed-minded, but yet it's still in those meetings between the judges, Janice was killing her. She's fat. She's too big. She should be in a car topper commercial. I remember those words when I heard it. I said, what the hell is a car topper? Janice, and the way these, and if Robin looks like the rest of these girls, those girls could run circles around Janice, even though she was successful. Hell, she was a skinny ass white woman who smoked cigarettes and did a lot of cocaine, allegedly. So, of course, she was thinking, does cigarettes increase your metabolism? I mean, not metabolism, nicotine stimulates you. So, it also stimulates your metabolism. That's what I was going to say. That keeps you awake and helps you lose weight. So that's that on that. Ebony with the hair again. Oh, that was awful. I mean, I don't remember them laughing at her, the hairstylist, but to see that now, definitely microaggressions. And then with them calling her Ashy with that beautiful chocolate skin, amazing to me because I never saw her ashy. Ashy would be my children. That's ashy. Okay. When you could see the white and they look like little dusty, like they had dusted themselves with flour. That's ash. And the whole, like I said, the gay thing, it was ridiculous. And then Giselle with the microaggressions, she got hers. She didn't even know that behind the scenes they didn't want her on the show because she was laughing. Now a lot of people don't understand. We have to understand. Start getting the differences between uh what nationality is versus race and creed and all these things. Nationality and race are two different things. Everybody's like, well, Les Moonves is Latin. When are people going to get into their heads? Not all Latin people are brown. Not all Latin people are black. Not all Latin people are, well, brown and black is what people mostly recognize. They barely recognize Afro-Latino, especially in this country, because they don't understand diaspora. But if you understand Spanish history, then you would know that Spain is in Europe, and these people are considered white. And a lot of those people settled in the areas they conquered, just like when they conquered America. Only thing difference is they speak Spanish. Okay, moving right along. Danny. Danny is amazingly gorgeous. Okay? Wow. I would say she hasn't changed a bit, but she has changed. Look at all that plastic surgery that Janice had to have, and she still looks like a monster. And look at Danny. Look at Ebony. Look at all these Bree, Kenya. Look at all these women she critiqued in the beauty fashion industry. And she looks a mess. Now, why was it? And I was so on Danny's side. And I'm especially on Danny's side at this point. My children, one of my little girls had braces because she had a gap and a serious overbite. And kids were picking on her. But if she had Danny's gap with her flat teeth in her head, I definitely wouldn't have had the work done or put her in braces because Danny embraced her gap. And with a lot of people, the gaps, like my children, the gaps are hereditary. And my children's family on their dad's side, they call it the Harden gap. And 95% of them have a gap. 95% of them. So with my other daughter, I let her keep hers because her teeth did not protrude as much as my other child. And then with Danny, they let the young lady after her keep her gap, and then they called it unique, which is what all modeling agencies call it. I used to work for a company where I recruited models called E-Model. And I always for the girls with the imperfections. I always went for the girls who had um, gaps or freckles or things that people considered to be just not what you would want to see in a model. I picked girls like Winnie, but I didn't see many girls with vitiligo. But had I saw Winnie, and her name Winnie Harlow, I would have been like, yes. If she had presented her portfolio to me, I would mean yes, she's a choice. Because back then it was just a matter of, excuse me, the people able to wear clothes. Um, the young lady there finally won for being a model that was uh, a plus size model. I was so happy. I think I was watching then. I stopped being kind of interested in Lisa's season. I don't know what cycle that was, but I stopped being. I think her name was Lisa the model. I thought she was kind of kooky, and I'm very surprised that she wasn't on here to talk about her experience. I'm surprised that Adrian wasn't on here. But they say they do have another documentary coming out, and Janice is going to be on. It's not going to be anything that Janice can say to make me like her or make me have compassion for her over time. Nothing. And by and large, like I said, all the black women look amazing. Kenya looks. I was like, I did not know Karucha Tran was on here. Because, I mean, she was looking just like Karucha to me. But found out that was Kenya. I remember Kenya's season. I remember when he was brushing all up on her, breathing in her ear and in her face. Jay Emanuel, you get no passes from me on that. Absolutely not. So you were complicit. Very much so. And you look back at the photographers and like, what the hell is her problem? Now, I know you probably would have liked the man breathing up on you and rubbing his dangling on you. But we had already gone through the Anita Hill experience. I think that's her name, Anita Hill, with Judge Clarence Thomas. And I use the word judge very loosely. So we knew that we shouldn't have been doing these things on television. Which brings me to Shannon. Wow. I mean, Shannon didn't even look like herself. I tried to see some semblance of this young lady from the show, and I could not. But I do know she was on Cycle 2, and I remember this very well. I remember her boyfriend called her all kinds of bitches. And them making her confess that she cheated on him. And it was wild. It was a wild time. And when I look back and I see myself watching the video, I was saying to myself, even back then, I was like, that didn't look like cheating. I know it was chopped up and, chopped up into little pieces, and I couldn't figure out what actually happened. But her confession is only what made me believe that she cheated. It wasn't her interaction with the guys, because I know something just didn't quite look right. Now, just because she was drunk and she was kissing these guys and all that type of stuff, that did not mean to me that they were able to come into her room and then enter her body without her permission. That is still SA. Next, let's get to the judges. Now, I didn't like any of them when they were on the show. I didn't like Miss J. I didn't like Mr. J. I thought they all looked like fantasy. So all of this, I want sympathy, I want pity for the judges. I have none for them. None. Do you hear me? None. However, Jay Manuel started coming into the realization that he was being used. And once he came into the realization that he was being used, Of course, he came to the realization that the girls were being used as well. Too little, too late, Mr. J. Too little, too late. When you said that you were terminated after you had already turned in your resignation and TYRA hit you with the "I'm disappointed," I felt nothing for you. No compassion, nothing. When she just sat there with her dull eyes, blinking and batting and wasn't saying anything to you, did I feel any compassion for you? None. The only people that I'm just going to tell you right now, the only people that I feel compassion for is the ladies. I told you, I don't feel compassion for them. Miss J, when you guys say, hold on, just 1 second. Now back to Miss J. Miss J had a stroke and she was in a coma for 5 whole weeks. Couldn't speak, couldn't talk, couldn't walk. I couldn't speak and couldn't talk at the same thing. But you know what I'm saying. And now, what is his pronoun? He's not transgender. Excuse me. But I say that, even though, okay, so here's the deal. Sometimes it is confusing how to hold on to people's pronouns in the LGBTQIA community when you try to respect the pronoun and they haven't made them clear. Because a lot of people call him, her. But I don't think he's transgender. But he's mixed. But anyway, I will say this. I mean, he seemed like he was picking at the girls sometimes because, if they walk like a gazelle, I think that was a good thing. If they walk like a Clydesdale, they'll stop it like a horse. So, he had his moments. And I used to be like, this dude is so very, 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 very unattractive. I'm just going to keep it real. And he's sitting up here talking about some of the most beautiful, looking like horses and whatever animals he could think of. I never liked that. And look at Mr. J. All that feeling in his face. He looks a damn mess too. The only person out of the judges that looks nice without all that feeling and junk in their face is TYRA and Nigel. And so they all got to speak. But I'm on Miss J right now. And so they said that he was when he was on a coma, a lot of people are saying that's his karma for being mean to those girls. He was teaching people how to walk. Now he can't walk. And so now he can't talk about people and how they walk. Now, I don't know if karma works that way or not, because also what I also try to educate people on is that karma does not just work in one way. Karma also speaks for the good that you do. So in the Black community, primarily, we have a tendency to use karma as something that is bad because we don't educate ourselves. We don't educate ourselves on how karma works, and we have a tendency to be closed-minded to other religions, with the exception of Christianity. So the only thing that we know is that karma is the badge you put out there. No, that could be if you're gonna use karma, that could be something good he's done. Maybe he's going to teach stroke victims how to talk again. Maybe he's going to tell them what he went through and inspire them. So that's that on it. That's how I feel about that. And also in Christianity, they do reap what you sow. Now, reap what you sow does mean, the bad that you put out. But I'm saying that it is a very weird coincidence. Like I said, I don't like any of them. I'm glad he's alive. I'm glad that he's learning to walk again, all of that. But no, again, the only people I feel sorry for are the girls. Nigel, all of them got fired at some point. Nigel was, to me, the least loyal to uh TYRA because they wanted somebody, a white guy. What is it with America where we have to have a white guy in a position of representation? I mean, they basically forced her to hire Nigel, and I'm like, had I known that, I just thought he was a great photographer. I didn't know that they would. We want a white guy. We want a white guy to sit on the panel. We got to have a white guy. If you want to know the most boring individual that sat on that panel, it was the white guy. Child. Anyway, so let's get to TYRA and then I'm going to close because I'm not going to break down. This is my analysis. This is my reaction to the video. TYRA. TYRA was unapologetic. Danielle said that she called her and told her she knew that she wasn't going to get jobs because of the show. Because, of course, she was upset because she was looking at Chanel Amon getting jobs. And when I tell you, I bet you any amount of money that Danielle could walk down Chanel Amon, and she definitely can compare to her in the books department. I ain't no doubt about that. And she could run up against the youngest. With those looks, the way as good as Danielle look, she can run up against the best of them. But modeling is not what it used to be. It's more digital. And nobody cares about print and all that type of stuff. I barely know any models these days. Only people I know is that Kardashian, Jenner girl, and Chanel. And that's because they push them in our face. And Chanel is also light skinned. that's an element. So the supermodels of the past, I think that time has ended. The London Evangelistas, the Janice, I even hate to say her name, the Janice Dickinsons, the Tyra Banks, the Beverly Johnson. Nobody ever say Beverly Johnson in these lists. They Amon, all them. I think those days are over. Veronica Porsche, people don't name her. Layla Ali's mama. And shout out to Brooke Ashley. Brooke Ashley mama. Brooke Ashley mama, travel the world, darling. Travel the world. But yeah, those days are long gone. I don't want to see nobody clopping across. I don't. I don't want to see, because I used to watch before America's Next Top Model. I used to watch model shows and videos, and to me, I just don't want to. I'm at the age now, I don't even want to see them clumping across the floor in clothes. Just put the shit in the stuff on a mannequin for me. Because that was a time when that was something to watch. I think it was this show called Models Inc. or something that I used to watch. Or something like that. It was a TV show. Um, it was a lot of shows like that, and I used to watch them, and I used to be like, and I know my little chunky self thought I could be a model because my best friend was 5'10", and I used to tell her. And that's the thing about her. I used to inspire her, but she was thick and through the thighs, so I don't think she would have. Now that we look back, but we were children. But I used to encourage her because people used to be like, they would call her moves and all these things like that. And that's another reason why we were as close as we were, because I used to pour into my best friend. I mean, she was going through things at home. And so I would just tell her, girl, you could be a model. Forget that mess. Forget what they're talking. But now they have plus size models. Takara should have won her season. She had the personality. But she was on, I want to say Takara was on there with Yaya and Eva. So I think they should have had a plus size model division and definitely not put Janice Dickinson on that panel. She hate fat. She hate fat people. She hate thick people. And she don't know she looked like a fucking monster. But anyway, back to Tyra. So Tyra went through things herself as a black woman. It's hard for black women to not be hippie. It's hard for us to not have, we're not like built up like Stacy with the flat booties. And generally speaking, the average black woman, even if she is tall, is gonna have hips and a behind. That's just what it is. We're not gonna be straight up and down and look skeletal. Naturally, it's rare. And when they do find a model that looks like that, they lucky. But Tyra was always more curvy. Even while you could see pictures of a video of you can even see videos of Kimora Lee. Kimora was not real thin either while she's talking. And it sounded like she had something taken out of her neck because that neck used to have rolls on it way back then. She had a Giselle neck way back then. Okay. And then Tyra had Shandy on her show. Y'all remember Tyra Banks' show? Those of you who are my age and a little bit younger. I mean, how disrespectful. Shandy said that she had asked Tyra not to show her on the show. And she did it anyway. She wanted to nail home the point that Shandy had been assaulted, but not willingly assaulted, but she didn't want it to seem like that she had been assaulted. She wanted to make sure that people understood that she was a willing participant in her attack. And for that, that right there almost made me throw up in my mouth. I said throw up, not throw up. Because that was sick. It was things like that you could clearly see. I think I saw that episode and you could clearly see she was uncomfortable. I guess it's sort of like with the R. Kelly, Chris Brown did it thing. I mean, if that's not your experience with that person, you can't speak on it like that. But I mean, you could still have the compassion for some of the people that you work with. Eva, Yaya never speaks. When Eva does do interviews, she never speaks against Tyra because she knows that the opportunities that she provided for her, I mean, she don't have a negative opinion of her. According to Eva, she just really never knew that all this stuff was going on either. But if you look at it real closely and examine it, the women that are successful are actresses. Shalisha, Yaya, Eva. They have more success in the acting business. Now, and I do appreciate, we have to go back to that too as well. She did provide them with the ability to, be spokespersons and see, we do have to talk about the positive too. She provided them with those opportunities. She provided them with the opportunity to, have some like little acting gigs, little dancing gigs, and that's how poor Kenya was harassed. But in the grand scheme of things, those things did work. But anyway, back to R. Kelly and Diddy and all them. Some people didn't have the trafficking experiences and the abuse experiences. Some of them just had a good work experience, and maybe why Yaya doesn't speak on it. But I do remember Yaya giving them hell. I do remember Yaya having a lot of pushback, and then like the way she acted, Yaya was very, I would say, pro-black. And boy, I wanted her to win so bad because she reminded me of myself. That's neither here nor there. And so she would give it back to him. I mean, so I'm surprised she got as far as she did because Tyra just really frowned upon those types of attitudes. Um, so I heard from the judges that you were speaking on your attitude. She wouldn't say that it was her pro black attitude. She would tell yeah, it was her attitude. Or she would tell Kenya it was her stomach and they would just videoing Kenya just stuffing down food. I remember that. I remember that so well. And I was like, damn, she ain't that big still. Whether she's stuffing down those damn bagels or not, they're plain bagels. It wasn't like she was topping them with sour cream and cream cheese like I do. Shout out to me. A strawberry cream cheese. She was just eating the plain. I mean, people were hungry. And so, like I said, with the good, with the bad, you have to take it with the good, with the bad. I mean, come on, Tyra. You did things. You did things too. Well, mine was just on display. And you have to come up with the things that are going to come back to you as well. Talk to the rest of us who probably judging her, which I'm kind of judging. So I say this to wrap things up. Tyra, she didn't take accountability. She's full of herself. She's arrogant. Tyra used to get on my nerves, actually. I liked the way she would have herself as an example, but it would get on my nerves. She did the same thing to Shannon about the cheating thing. It would get on my nerves to a certain degree because it seemed like, in a way, too, you were bragging. It's a way to have, like Cynthia Bailey would say, a humble brag. Okay? Now, I didn't know who Cynthia Bailey was, but as far as the supermodel thing goes, I need to add her because she is on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, my favorite housewives show. So we're gonna shout out to Cynthia with the supermodel thing as well, even though I don't remember her. Like I said, I remember Veronica Porsche, Amon, Beverly Johnson. Uh, who else? One day, and this is how I really got into it. I'm gonna tell you how I got into it. One day, you have to go back and look at it. All those women were on the Phil Donahue show. And it was called the Supermodel Experience. I think that's what the episode was called. Some of the world's most beautiful women, or something like that it was. But I remember that episode clearly, and that's where I'm getting my names from, because Beverly Johnson was on there. And Amon was on there. And there was no Tyra at that time, but Linda Evangelista was on there. I want to say Jerry Hall, Mick Jagger's old lady. She was on there. And I love the way she talked. And I love that and she may still have that. She had that long blonde hair. And it was thick. And I just thought Jerry Hall, I want to say that's her last name, but I know her first name was Jerry. Like, wow. Now, I thought she was gorgeous, especially when she used to have that hard red lipstick. And I used to be like, what the hell do she see in Mick Jagger? That's neither here nor there. Nobody knows what anybody saw him in Jagger, but they say he has a big, big, big one. That's what the word on the street is. But anyway, the point is, Tyra has her things. I thought that there was times when she was very arrogant. I thought that there was times when she kind of put the girls down, especially with that whole thing. We're rooting for you. And I was like, that date. And when she did that episode, I was like, why in the hell is she hollering at Tiffany like that? Well, my mother yelled at me like this. I do she love me? Huh? You still have to treat other adults with respect. You don't talk to somebody like that. It's your child. That's how your mama talk to you, because you her child. You want that lady, mama? And I think also is that the network had poured a whole lot into Tiffany to get her back on the show. So I think she was thinking also, I'm losing out on my investment. Now I'm gonna have to let her go because she still hasn't changed. Yeah, Tiffany was rough around the edges, but it didn't take all that. But yes, so anyway, to close, and I said I was gonna close, and I am. TYRA wrapping it up. TYRA said she's gonna do a cycle 25. Will you guys be watching cycle 25? I might take a look at it. I'm not gonna say, it's run its course or not, and I won't look at it. Maybe she'll have upgraded videos, and she'll get away from all that harsh criticism. And the show, maybe she learned a lesson. Let's check it out. Let's give her a shot and see. Maybe she get over there on Hulu, but child, Hulu didn't care for her. Hulu, Disney, the umbrella, ABC, up under there, all them under that Disney umbrella. They didn't care for her too much. And she got fired down to the Dance with the Stars. So we'll see where she gonna land this time, because the only person that took her before was UPN, and we don't have the UPN type shows anymore. And we have the CW. But the CW is not the UPN. UPN used to be predominantly black, if you know what I mean. So will you be checking it out? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Before I do, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. And share the video, because sharing is indeed care. Deuces.